At his peak, Mike Tyson was the most feared man on the planet. He earned over $400 million from boxing. By 2003, he was bankrupt, $23 million in debt. But this is not simply a story of a man who spent too much. It's a story about a predatory promotional system, a manager who took everything he built, a financial infrastructure that was never designed to protect him. And what happens when the most valuable asset in sports is a 20-year-old kid from Brooklyn with no financial education and no one in his corner he could actually trust? This is the financial autopsy of Iron Mike Tyson. Welcome to Coin in Context. Michael Gerard Tyson was born on June the 30th, 1966 in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in Brownsville, one of the most economically devastated neighborhoods in New York City. By his early teens, he had been arrested dozens of times. Then he met Cus D'Amato. D'Amato was a legendary trainer, the man who had developed Floyd Patterson and Jose Torres into world champions. He saw something in Tyson. He took him to his home in Catskill Mountains, became his legal guardian, and began shaping him into a fighter. D'Amato died in 1985 before Tyson won his first title. But he had built something extraordinary. Not just a fighter, but a destroying machine. The peekaboo style, the speed, the power, the psychological intimidation before the first punch was thrown. November 22nd, 1986. Mike Tyson, aged 20 years, 4 months into 22 days, knocked out Trevor Berbick in the second round to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a record that has never been broken. The money followed immediately, but it arrived into a structure that was never built to protect it. After D'Amato's death, Tyson's management passed to Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton. When Jacobs died of leukemia in 1986, Tyson's promotional relationship shifted, and Don King entered the picture. Don King is one of the most consequential and controversial figures in the history of professional boxing. His promotional model was straightforward. Maximize the fight purse, take the maximum promotional share, and keep the fighter dependent on your infrastructure. Between the late 1980s and late 1990s, King promoted the most financially valuable boxing matches on the planet, and Mike Tyson was his prime asset. The numbers were extraordinary. Fight purses in the tens of millions, pay-per-view revenues, appearance fees, endorsements. At the absolute peak of his earning power, Mike Tyson was generating $30 to $40 million per fight. The question, which would take years and a lawsuit to partially answer, was where that money was actually going. Let us document what Mike Tyson actually spent his money on, because the numbers, on their own terms, are almost impossible to comprehend. 3 Bengal tigers, purchased at $70,000 each. Monthly upkeep confirmed by Mike Tyson himself at $10,000 per animal per month. A custom-built mansion in Southington, Connecticut. Indoor pool, nightclub, theater, full staff. A $2 million bathtub documented in financial proceedings. 60 cars and motorcycles at one point, simultaneously registered in his name. A pigeon loft. Tyson had kept racing pigeons since childhood and never stopped. Gold chains, jewelry, travel, entourage, and operating that at his peak was spending an estimated $400,000 per month just to exist. His financial team, to the extent that one existed in any meaningful sense, consistently failed to flag what was happening, or perhaps they did flag it and were not heard. The record is not entirely clear. What is clear, by the time the earning power began to diminish, the spending had already consumed the surplus. In 1992, Mike Tyson was convicted of rape. He was sentenced to 6 years in Indiana Youth Center, served 3 years before release in 1995. The financial impact was immediate and total. All fight income stopped. The promotional machine that had generated tens of millions per event went dormant. The entourage, the properties, the overheads, they did not stop. When Tyson returned to boxing in 1995, he was fighting to recover ground that had been lost during the 3 years of zero income and continuous expenditure. The two Holyfield fights, 1996 and 1997, represented both the financial apex of his return and the momentum the wheels came off completely. The first fight, Tyson lost by TKO in the 11th round, $30 million on the table. The second fight, June 28, 1997, third round, Tyson bit a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear. He was disqualified and was fined $3 million by the Nevada Athletics Commission, later reduced to $250,000. His boxing license was revoked. The earning machine stopped again. In 1998, Mike Tyson sued Don King for $100 million, alleged that King had systematically defrauded him throughout their promotional relationship. The lawsuit alleged undisclosed deductions, side agreements with venues and broadcasters that King kept without disclosure, and a systematic failure to account for revenues that should have been shared with Tyson. The case was settled confidentially. The settlement amount was never been officially disclosed. Industry estimate placed it in the range of $14 million, a fraction of what Tyson alleged had been taken. What the lawsuit confirms, regardless of the settlement figure, is that Tyson himself believed that the financial management of his career had fundamentally failed him. That belief, shared by many observers, is the clearest explanation for the gap between $400 million earned and nothing retained. The promoters make money whether the fighter wins or loses. The fighter makes money only when fighting. When the fighting stops, for any reason, the fighter's income stops. The promotional infrastructure does not. August 2003, Mike Tyson filed for bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court. Listed debts approximately $23 million. His largest creditor included the IRS and various legal adversaries. He had earned, across his career, somewhere between $300 and $400 million. He was 37 years old, bankrupt and still owed money. The arithmetic is not complicated. The spending exceeded the income that remained after promoters, managers, lawyers, and the IRS took their share. What was left was consumed by a lifestyle that had been constructed when the inflows were at their highest and never adjusted when they fell. He continued fighting. Kevin McBride in 2005. He was stopped in the 6th round. He announced his retirement in the ring in tears. The story does not end at bankruptcy. Mike Tyson in his 50s rebuilt, partly through the marijuana business in California, Tyson Ranch, and a cannabis company that generated millions, partly through his hotboxing podcast, partly through the Netflix biographical series and the cultural rehabilitation of his image. And then November 2024, the Jake Paul fight on Netflix. Whatever your views on the sporting merit, the financial reality was significant. Reported purse in excess of $20 million for a fight watched by 65 million households on Netflix. Mike Tyson, at 58 years old, was generating more media revenue than most active athletes. The financial story of Mike Tyson is not primarily a story about overspending. Though it is part of it, it is a story about structural vulnerability. When your entire income depends on one physical activity, and that activity can be interrupted at any moment by injury, by criminal conviction, by a bitten ear, by age, the financial architecture around there must be bulletproof. Tyson never had that architecture. The promoter extracted maximum value. The tax authorities extracted their share. The legal system took its cut. The entourage costs what it costs. And at the center of all of that was a young man from Brownsville who had been given no financial education whatsoever. The second lesson is about who actually is in your corner. The Amato protected Tyson. When the Amato died, the people who replaced him had different interests. Identifying who actually benefits from your financial success and who benefits regardless is the most important question any high earner can ask. This is Coin in Context. Follow the money. Subscribe.